Does anyone else feel completely trapped living in this country? I'm talking about the UK, obviously, you can tell by my accent. But the cost of living in this country it's astronomical. It's to the point where I'm actually spending all of my spare time trying to learn other languages so that I have some hope of escaping this hellhole. I have no money left at the end of the month. Okay, once I pay my rent, my bills, bought food and petrol, like my job is actually crippling me. It's the amount I have to pay for petrol and parking for my work just to get to work is astronomical. And there are no jobs where I live. And when I tell you there are no jobs where I live, I'm not joking. There are no jobs where I live. I commute at least an hour. Well, it's meant to be an hour, but because there's always temporary traffic lights and everything everywhere, I can sit in traffic for an hour and a half to get to work, and like half an hour of that is barely even moving my car. I put petrol in my car and I watch the petrol gauge go down as I'm driving. The cost is through the roof. The cost of food is out of this world in this country. And yes, we have an obesity problem in this country. No wonder why, because healthy food is so expensive. And I know there's loads of issues with the farmers and stuff and the way they're getting taxed. And I feel for the farmers. It's not them, it's the greedy corporations like Tesco's, Asda, you name it. Something else I've also noticed as well, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, let me know if you have. I don't know how these companies are storing the food that they are putting in their shops, but I have noticed that if I go to certain supermarkets, Aldi and Lidl, and I buy fruit, that fruit does not last 2 seconds, even if it's in the fridge. I can buy some strawberries or some grapes, I will put them in my fridge, and like 2 days later they are covered in mold. So how long are they sitting out the back for before they're put on the shelves? How long are these things left lying around before they're put onto the shelves? And they're not cheap to buy in the first place. You spend a lot of money on these items in the first place because you want to be kind of health conscious and not eat crap. And then you put them in your fridge, you get them home, and you end up throwing away half of the item because it's unedible. I actually believe that if I would not be as depressed as I am if I did not live in the UK, people always joke in the UK, oh, well, I just work and then like I can afford to take a holiday and like escape for a week. But that's no longer a reality for most people because they don't fit into the budget anymore. It's too expensive. You don't have any money left at the end of the month to put aside to put into a holiday. There is no escape. There is no escape. You are working your backside off. And that's another thing. It's not just the cost of everything. It's the work culture that we have in this country. I have a friend that went to university in Texas quite some years ago, probably like 10 years ago, and he was telling me that even 10 years ago when he was in Texas, the Americans would say to him that, oh, I don't know how you survive in the UK. You live to work, but we work to live. As in, like, you have no work-life balance in the UK. You are worked to the bone. You're expected to bend over backwards to please your employer. There are no perks to working. There is no incentive to work. You are taxed so much, and yet a lot of people have to take on second and third jobs because they can't afford to live on the money that they're earning in their full-time job. Absolutely, I just feel like I'm trapped in life. I feel like there is no escape, and it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter, do you know what I mean? I just got a new job, and that job's already crippling me because I can't afford to pay for the parking and the petrol. It's insane. And the worst thing is that these companies are profiting off of this. These big corporations, the supermarkets, they're making money from us. They're passing those costs on, those extra costs to the consumer, and they're making billions in profit. Billions. They could cut their profits just by a tiny little bit and let the rest of us survive, but no. They have to outdo themselves every year and make more and more and more and more. Food is actually a luxury in this country. It's a luxury to be able to eat and be able to feed your family. I don't know how people who, I'm a single parent, so let me tell you, it's hard. I don't know how single parents of families of 2 or 3 plus kids survive, because I only have one child, and the amount of money that I get for him and myself through working it's just not doable anymore. We have 6 months plus, probably 3/4 of our weather, I would say, year is rain or cold and grey. There is no sun in the sky. even when there is sun in the sky, they're trying to block out the sun in the sky. Reduce the amount of sunlight that we get in this country. There's no vitamin D. Like, no wonder everybody feels so low and so hopeless and so, like I say, it's not just the cost of living. If the cost of living was what it is, but you had a little bit of freedom in your job, the weather was better, you could get outside more, you could do things in your own country, so you didn't need to escape to another country. Like, you could take your kids out and there would be activities that would be a reasonable price. Life would be bearable, but it's not. You can't afford to do anything in this country apart from, you are surviving, you are paying to survive, and it's a fight to survive, and everybody is just in survival mode, fight mode. Like, no wonder our nervous systems are shot. We can't relax because you're always thinking, oh, I've got to make money, I've got bills to pay, the next paycheck, I've got a budget, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. It's you cannot relax. Even when you're not at work, you cannot relax because you're always constantly thinking in your head, like, how am I going to survive this month? And the amount of tax that we pay in this country, oh my God, I can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a high earner. I wouldn't say that I'm not on minimum wage, but I am a single parent. I don't work full time because I have a health condition that restricts me from working. By the way, I do not get any PIP or anything like that either. So before people start commenting, I do not get the additional help. So it's just, if I can't work, I'm screwed. But the amount of money that I'm getting taxed every month is unreal. And every month I'm constantly on the phone to HMRC trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with my tax code, why are there so many mistakes with my tax. And of course they're just like, oh, we just have to wait till the end of the year, to get that money back. Get that money back at the end of the year. The money that you are taking from me for zero reason. The money that the amount of money that I paid in tax between January and April was insane compared to what I was earning. I was literally going to work and working like a day and a half every week for free because they were taking so much tax from me. And yet you have to chase HMRC, you have to phone them, you ask them to do something, they say they've done it, and then you phone back to check and they're like, oh no, it hasn't been done. It's insane. The cost of medication in this country, don't even get me started on that. And this is another thing when you're blocking out the sun. This is totally related. Like, if you can't afford healthy food and you're not getting vitamin D and you're not getting outside, no wonder everybody is so sick and ill and unable to recover. But I honestly think that's part of the plan. They want us at work, kept in the dark, just working away, making us sick, feeding us crap food, and then taxing the hell out of us and just basically compiling the amount of stress onto us, as much stress as they possibly can, so that we break. To add insult to injury, this is the bit that shocked me as well. Like, I was doing some research into the cost of living yesterday, and I went onto the government website, like the gov.uk, and if you go onto their cost of living page, there's a tab at the bottom that says, are you struggling? I was like, oh, they might actually provide some advice here, or like ideas for like saving money. Potentially there are some ways in which the government is going to help you out. There are some offers of help. You click on that tab and it takes you to a mental health page with a Samaritan's number. Like, they are well aware that people are desperately depressed in this country, barely surviving, and there are people out there that are literally, wanting to self-delete because they cannot afford to live. And that's the government's answer. It's just like, oh, just phone these people up if you feel like you're going to like top yourself. Do you know what I mean? That is wild to me. That the government is literally laughing in our faces. They have no intention of helping us. They do not care. And quite frankly, that guy at the petrol station that had a go at Rachel Reeves, oh, what a hero, honestly. She has no bloody idea. She has no idea what it's like to live in this country as a normal person and struggle to survive every single month.